Hey, welcome to the Small Business Made Simple podcast, brought to you by socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Being in business is never easy, but it can be simple, or at least simpler. Join me, your host Jen Donovan, every week where we focus on marketing, social media, and working towards simplifying your business. You with me? Let's do this.
If you're gonna dream it big, 'cause someone out there listening. Everyone's got a voice to give, and it's time I heard you whistling, 'cause there's no point at all, in dreaming small.
Why, hey there, my fabulous listener. Welcome to episode 259 of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. Thank you, as always, for lending me your ears today. I know you have lots of choices out there, and I really do appreciate you making me one of them. Now, if you are a listener week after week, you may notice that this episode is a couple of days late. I do sincerely apologize for that. If you are listening not in real time, then you probably haven't noticed the difference. But basically, I've been on holidays, and before I went on holidays, life was a little bit unreasonable to me, I have to say, and therefore a podcast just wasn't scheduled in. So here it is, but I'm happy to say that it's probably the latest it's been in nearly 5 years of podcasting. So I'm okay with that. I have shown up eventually, even if it is a couple of days late. But this episode is a cracker. It's all about where you could be leaking profits in your business. And I think this is a really important conversation for us to have, because leaking profits is not a good idea. I've got 4 ways that I think you could be possibly leaking profits in your business. So have a listen up. But before we get to that, did you have a listen to last week's episode? My special guest, Emma Lovell, chatted to us about building your personal brand alongside your business brand. Now, this is something that I failed to do when I first started in business. So it is one of those things that I'm deeply passionate about, because I know the pain that I've actually had to go through in building my own personal brand. When if I had started it at the start, then I perhaps would have been a little bit further along as we speak. But anyway, it's a really good episode. So head back there and listen to episode 258 if you haven't listened to that one already. Of course, before we get started, I really want to do a quick shout out to this week's podcast sponsor, because if you're tired of wasting time on financial admin, then it's time to simplify your business with Thriday. So Thriday is the next gen accounting platform that automatically reconciles your expenses, calculates your tax, and chases up overdue invoices. And you can control it all from one place. Imagine how much time you could save. Business finance doesn't have to consume you, but hey, it's such an important part. We are all experts in whatever we do, and not many of us are experts in our finances. So Thriday could be the absolute tool that you've been looking for. Go and check it out at thriday.com.au. Thriday is spelt THRIDAY.com.au. But like I said, today's episode is all about leaky profits, where you might be leaking money in your business. My primary goal of my business is to make your small business simpler for you. But of course, that secondary goal that I have for you is I want to make sure I'm helping you make more money. And realistically, when we're in business, there's only 3 ways we can make more money. The first way is we get more people to buy our stuff. We win new business. The second way is if we put our prices up, if we increase the transaction value. And the third way, of course, is if we get someone to buy from us more often. So we're increasing the frequency of the sale. That's really the only 3 ways that we can make more money in business. And the harsh reality for most businesses is they are heavily focused on the first step of winning new clients, which actually just happens to be the most expensive way to increase your profitability. But even when we make a connection with a prospect and draw them into our business, unless they buy from us instantly, many people that we make connections with simply leak out of our funnels. Getting people who are already know, like, and trust us is actually the cheapest way and somewhat the simplest way to grow our profitability. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Chances are right now you are leaking profits from your business for one reason alone, and that one reason is that you don't have a client optimization framework in place. Client optimization basically means that you have a clearly defined process to capture initial content initial contacts, so cold audiences, and have a system to nurture them all the way until they become paying clients. Too often, prospects visit our business, whether that be online or actually physical, if we have a bricks and mortar, and simply come in and go out without any connection being made. This means basically that you have spent money on marketing to grab their attention and then wasted it because you failed to connect with them. The reality is that not everyone who comes in contact with you is ready to buy from you in that moment. So you must have a system in place to maintain communication and nurture that relationship until they are ready to buy or choose not to buy. So you've got to have this nurture system. You've got to have a client optimization framework. Now, there's 4 common leakage points that I see most business owners have at least a few of them, if not all 4 of them. So let's take a look at what these leakage points are, and more importantly, how we can plug the gaps, just in case any of these relate to you. So our first leakage point is our point of entry. So basically, where our clients and prospects enter into our business. This point is where they might come to your website or they might actually walk into your premises. Too often, a prospect is allowed or even encouraged to come in and take a look around and then leave without ever having being offered the chance to connect with a business. It's vital that people are given a reason to connect with you. This means you need a tool that represents real value that people want to gain access to. Commonly, these are lead magnets. So people come to your website or come to your social media or even come to your bricks and mortar and they're offered some sort of lead magnet in exchange for their email address and, of course, their name. This is a way of connecting with them. So rather than them just coming into your business and then leaving again, we're actually collecting some data. If you don't currently have a compelling reason for people to share with you their name and their email, at minimum, then there's no question that you are leaking prospects. And of course, therefore, you are leaking income in your business. So have a think about that. How are you going to nurture all the people that come to your website or that come into your premises as such? I know when we had our bricks and mortar um, retail store, we always ran a competition on the front counter. We had the Queen's Club that you could join, our loyalty program. On my website, I have pop-ups, I have freebies. I have this podcast where people enter into my business and it's like, hey, connect with me on socials, download this particular ebook or sign up for this freebie or I've got this program coming. There's always something. And this is the reason why I'm trying to get the ability to talk to people after they've found me, after they've first visited my podcast or my website or my premises. So this is what leakage point number 1 is about. Leakage point number 2 is probably the most overlooked point, and it's our ability to nurture a new lead. If you've been successful in making a connection and gaining some basic contact information from a visitor or from, the prospect who's visited your website or visited your premises, now you've got to actually nurture them until they're ready to buy. Because remember, not everyone is ready to buy when they first meet you or come across your business for that point. Statistics show that today prospective buyers may require as many as 12 to 15 contact points before they are comfortable to buy from you. Now, it does vary a little bit from service-based to retail-based. Sometimes retail-based funnels are a lot quicker. See a candle, like a candle, buy a candle, as opposed to a service based, which might be like, buy my accounting package, buy my course, buy my program, buy into my membership. That they could be longer lead times than perhaps, and sometimes I think it's a little bit relative to what price point is that you're actually selling as well. So keep that in mind. I was always taught about the rule of 6. So people needing 6 contact points with you before they're ready to buy. But now I think it's kind of like the rule of 6 by 3. Like, it's like somewhere between I don't know, 12 and 200 contact points that someone needs. Let's call it the rule of 6 by 3, because in the past, there was initial contact and it took maybe 6 touch points to make a sale, but things have changed. The marketplace, I don't need to tell you that. Marketplace is so much noisier, it's so much busier. There's more competitors out there clamoring for your customers or your prospects' attention. So what does this mean? It means you need to work hard to get and to hold the attention of your prospects. Now, I teach my clients how to build longer marketing funnels and to basically be prepared for the need to deliver more value over a longer period of time to win the exact same buyer that perhaps a couple of years ago might have not required so much energy or maybe even a shorter sequence to make the purchase. But again, things have changed. When you realize that the average buyer requires dozens or so touch points, then you really only have, and if you only have one or two in place, then the issue for you is really quite obvious. If you don't have an effective nurture sequence in place where you're simply, becoming more and more touch points for your clients to buy, and if you don't have these things in place, then basically you're giving your competitors a bit of a fighting chance to get your prospects over and above you because you aren't using your time and your marketing energy to nurture this person until they're ready to buy from you. One of the things I see all the time with my clients is when we address this gap and implement a solid sequence of nurture, their income does jump dramatically because people have a reason to buy from you. They're feeling, what do they say? People come for the content, but they stay for the community. This community, nurturing your community until they're ready to buy from you or buy from you again, is just so important. Your ability to maintain communication with your prospect while they are in your marketing funnel is crucial. The fact is that these days, meeting a prospect today and pitching them tomorrow have all but gone. If your strategy is to make a pitch to a prospect and if they say no, or if they don't say yes instantly, you discard them because you have no way to nurture them, then you are leaking money big time in your business. Leakage point number 3, you've got to learn to sell. There is little value in becoming a great marketer and telling lots of people about what you do and how you do it and how you can solve their problems if you don't have the tools to convert them into buyers. The third leakage point, therefore, is the lack of a sales system, a predictable sales process that everyone follows and understands. Now, the sales system I teach is based on the principle of no pressure selling. There is never a need to push or manipulate someone into buying something. The truth is, none of us want to be sold to, but we do want people to help us buy the product that we need to solve our problem or to delight us in business. Just think of it. If put yourself in your customer's shoes, we don't want to be forced into buying something. We want something that is actually going to solve our problems. And the cornerstone of this philosophy, the philosophy of no pressure selling, which I teach my clients, is not to try and convince someone to buy from you, but the goal is actually to help them discover why you are the best option. The simple way to determine which side of the equation you fall into, like are you discovery selling or are you convincing selling, is measured by one thing. And so next time you're having a sales meeting, think about this. Who did most of the talking? If it's you who did most of the talking during the sales process, you are most certainly in convincing mode. You are convincing someone to buy your product. If your prospect or your potential client, if they do most of the talking, then you are in discovery mode. Selling isn't about talking, it's about listening. Now, many business owners are in such a habit of trying to convince people of their abilities that they have, they're literally talking themselves out of a sale. The more someone convinces you, Notice people's body language. Notice your own body language and someone's trying to convince you to buy something. You start to step back. You start to step back. Whereas if they ask great questions and they're in discovery mode, then you really feel like someone's listening to you and you're more likely to buy. So the bottom line is, if you are doing all the talking in your sales process, then you are leaking lots of income. My final point, so leakage point number 4 that I wanted to talk to today, occurs when a business fails to maintain communication with the client and offer them other purchase options, upgrades, and buying opportunities. Now, the most likely people to buy from you are those who already have. In other words, you are at least 10 times more likely to get an existing client to buy again than you are to attract a new client. Yet most businesses spend the majority of their time, their energy, their resources, their marketing focusing on the new business. Think of social media. It's so much about attracting new people. And then what do? When I talk about cold, warm, hot audiences, so many people are focusing on the cold audiences and everyone forgets about the people who have actually spent money with them. It's crazy. You take a look around, you'll quickly realize if you are hemorrhaging profits. One of the worst, and I have to say all too common phrases that I hear in businesses, oh, I didn't know you did that. No, I'm not talking about someone coming into your business who's never bought from you that says that. I'm talking about a client who then goes, oh, I didn't know you did that. If you're hearing your clients or your customers say something similar, then it means you've failed to educate them about the full range of services that you offer. Once you've won a client, it is now crucial that you ensure you are able to maximize the share of the wallet you can claim. The client has money and they're willing to spend it with you. They already know, like, and trust you. If they go somewhere else for a service that you've already delivered, then you have leaked more profit. The ability to attract and convert new buyers, is an important skill to develop. But you must never lose sight of the fact that you are likely to leave money on the table by not nurturing your prospects for longer and then giving your clients more opportunities to buy. So, if you think about all the clients you already have, what have you got for them to buy and buy again? How are you upgrading what it is that you buy? Your clients should very rarely hit a glass ceiling with things that they can buy from you. I've mentioned 4 leakage points here. If you address these leakage points in your business, your bank balance will go, I promise you. So think about these leakage points. Do any of them, do you sort of communicate with any of them and think, yeah, I don't do that. Yeah, I don't have a nurture system. Yes, I don't have a client optimization framework. I need to get these things in place, Jen. Well, if that's the case, let's have a bit of a chat. Book a discovery call with me. The link is in the show notes. It's, of course, on my website and all over my socials as well. But if you'd like to chat more about this, you can even just go in and ask some questions in my Facebook group, Like-Minded Business Owners. If you're not a member of, then go and join. Well, that's it for episode 259. Might be a little bit late, but I hope it was an episode that will really make you think about where you are leaking profits in your business. And of course, if you love this episode and found it of value, I would love for you to leave a rating and review if it's possible where you are listening to this episode. And if you're listening on my website, then I would love you to leave a comment there as well. It would really make my day. But otherwise, I'll see you next week for episode 260. Thanks again to Thriday, the next-gen accounting platform that automatically reconciles your expenses, calculates your tax, and chases up overdue invoices, for being today's sponsor. You can, of course, go to thriday.com.au to find out more about them. But in the meantime, if we aren't getting social on social, come and find me on Instagram, Facebook, or of course LinkedIn, and let's become social media friends over there. That would be spectacular. But whatever you do, remember, my small business peep, as my opening song says, there is no point in dreaming small.
No time like the present. Tell it like you feel it, say it proud, be true, and let us see you for the star that you are. No point in dreaming small.
I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Yorta Yorta people, on which I record this podcast and conduct my business today, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I extend this respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here with us today as well.